你好，北京。我是 Sota. I'm Horizon Plus Network. I'm learning Chinese right now, so next time I would like to speak Chinese more.
大家好，我是尹航，我是来自 Phala Network 的一个，然后这次呢炉边对话，所以说我们就用英语来交流，然后后面呢我们就是快结束的时候，我们可以留几分钟时间给大家来问一些问题。Well, Sota. So she asked me to translate our discussion.
Nice.
Yeah, I will try my best, but there will be something very really hardcore and very technical. So I will just catch the core part. I think it will not be very easy to translate everything. And I'm not very good at English, so I will try my best.
Cool.
Okay. So I think today's chat will be pretty casual. So I have prepared some topics. So let's just start. So I think first of all, I think the audience today are not very familiar with all the Web3 projects, including Plsam and Phala network. So maybe we can give a very simple introduction to the audience about our project. So I can start from myself. So Phala network is actually, I think this project is very different from other projects. So we focus on confidentiality. So basically, I think most of people already know Ethereum, EOS, and maybe Tron, this smart contract platform. But I think one of the feature of this smart contract platform is that everything is open on the blockchain. You can download the blockchain and you know everything. This is good because with this you can achieve the vision of Web3, that is not trust, but we would like to build a trustless world. You can verify everything to make sure nothing is bad. This is actually very good. But the way to implement such a trustless environment is you need to execute the smart contract by yourself and you verify it. This leads to a new problem, that is, if you want to keep anything confidential, if you want to run any secret on the blockchain, that will be a problem. There are some existing solutions like Zcash and Aztec. It is a Zcash-like protocol that you can wrap ERC20 tokens to support confidential transaction. But they all use zero-knowledge proof, so it's limited to transaction. You can't actually run very generic smart contract, Turing complete smart contract, while keeping your information secret. So this is a problem. So our solution is to use a hardware and software hybrid architecture, so that you can run. Actually, there is a term called trusted execution environment (TEE). Yeah, you can see it as a trustable third party, but it's not a third party. It's just the hardware. So you don't need to trust anyone. All the execution, the code, the information are kept inside the CPU, a special area, and you don't need to worry about the information getting leaked. Yeah. So we build a blockchain platform with the help of this hardware, so that we can run the smart contract in a private way. Okay, so this is the introduction of Phala network. Yeah, it's a bit long, so I will try to use like 2 sentences to introduce it in Chinese.
Okay.
Phala network 基本上可以这么理解，就是现在有很多的这个像以太坊啊、EOS 啊，然后他们最大的问题就是所有的运行的这个智能合约你都必须公开，对吧？公开就导致有很多这些任务你是不能在区块链上做的，比如说有些机密信息啊，然后什么这个发工资啊，对吧 ？DeFi 里面的仓位啊都不能公开，那怎么办呢？然后我们想了个办法，其实有各种各样的办法，像零知识证明，但是零知识证明它不是通用的，所以说我们最后采用了一种叫 TE 的方案。然后其实大家用的那个英特尔的 CPU， 然后里面都有一块区域叫这个 SGX 可信区域，在这个可信区域里面执行代码的话，就不用担心合约执行的这个数据泄露出去。然后我们做的事情就是把它变成一个智能合约平台，这样的话智能合约就变得别人不能访问了，就是不叫别人不能访，就是别人不能拿到智能合约里面的这些机密数据，只有你想公开的数据才会公开，不需要公开所有的数据。OK。
He speaks like perfect English. So my name is Sota. I'm CEO at Stake Technologies, and we are making product for the Plsam network. And also, I'm a researcher at the blockchain researcher at the University of Tokyo. So I'm learning a scaling solution at the university. So Plsam network is a high scalable DAX platform on Polkadot. So I don't know how many people are familiar with Polkadot, but Polkadot is the foundation for Web3. And blockchain is independent right now, but blockchain will be connected, I hope this year. And we are making one of the blockchain which will be connected to the Polkadot. Blockchain does not scale, so this is the fundamental problem. Currently, less than 5% of human beings are using blockchain, but Ethereum does not scale. And many transactions stuck. So we would like to solve this problems. So we are implementing layer 2 solution. So layer 2 solution is hierarchical scaling solution. So we are implementing OEM, optimistic partial machine. With OEM, we can make Plasma and also Lightning Network, all layer 2 protocols on Substrate. And the point is, as I said, Polkadot is the blockchain which will be connected many blockchain. But the Polkadot itself does not support smart contract. So we need blockchain which supports smart contract well. Plasma network can be one of them. And historically we started making Plasma network 10 months ago. And we got 3 grants from Web3 Foundation. And we launched Plasma Network version 3 last month. And we will launch mainnet in 2 months. Yeah, I hope Plasma Network gonna be one of the most basic Phala chain. I'm not sure that many people know Phala chain or not, but Phala chain in this year, yeah, this is the general introduction.
OK， 我来简单翻译一下，就是这个首先就是我相信其实大家都是知道波卡的，对吧？然后这个波卡的平行链，我相信大家也都比较了解。当然，如果不了解的话，赶紧恶补一下啊。然后但是这个波卡有一个这个，就是波卡的它的主链其实是不支持智能合约的，就是在主链，就波卡的主链呀，叫这个中继链，它是为了解决一些这个波卡自己的问题，它其实是把平行链连接在一起的一个平台，所以上面其实不支持智能合约。那 Plsam 是做什么的呢？就是在这个作为一个平行链提供一个智能合约运行的平台。但是智能合约运行其实说起来简单，实际上大家都知道这个区块链有一个相当大的问题，大家已经喊了很多年了，就是性能不行。哪怕一些声称性能很好的链，其实最后也多多少少出现一些问题。然后以太坊的性能大家也都很清楚，对。所以说这个 Plasma 是一个什么项目呢？其实它是实现了 Plasma 一个协议，这个协议就可以去扩容，给这个区块链做多层的扩容。然后我觉得一会儿可能这个 Sota 可以多介绍一点怎么去做的这个扩容。 但是 Plasma 其实是一个特别有趣的一个非常聪明的协议，而它可以实现在这个主链的基础上一层一层的去分层，然后无限的去扩容。对，然后基本上这个Plasma 就是波卡上一个原生的Plasma 的一个实现，然后在2个月之前已经上线了测试网络，然后大概会在这个今年吧，然后会上线主网，然后Plasma 也非常希望能在今年成为一个波卡的 Prochain。Okay, so translation.
I think that's good.
Okay, so when I think when you know enough Chinese, you can correct me.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, I think Plasma and also the original protocol Plasma is one of the most interesting area. I'm very interested in the blockchain technology. And basically, when I entered the blockchain scene, I think there are some problems to solve before the blockchain can achieve a so-called mass adoption. One of it is the performance and the scalability, and this could be solved by Plasma. Yeah, and this is what you are working on. Yeah, and I think maybe there are also other problems. For example, the confidentiality. This is what we are focusing on. And another area is to connect the blockchain and the off-chain world. Maybe this is can be solved by the like prediction market and Oracle. Yeah, and I think these are all the very fundamental infrastructure for the blockchain. Yeah, and I think this is why we work so hard on the blockchain thing to make it possible, because we all believe in the Web3, the vision of Web3. Yeah, so I think for both Plsam and Phala network, we are a very technical project. Yeah. So actually, we have worked very hard in the recent years. But actually, we have just worked for 1 year, and maybe you have a longer history. So what are the current focus and the technical in terms of the technology? I mean, right now you are working on.
That's a good question. So blockchain does not scale by design because it's decentralized system. It's not centralized system, right? So technically, it's pretty hard to make it scalable, and it takes time. And Plasma is not complete yet. And 1 year ago, there are many types of Plasma: Plasma Cash, Plasma Debit, Plasma like ZS9, Plasma MVP, and so on. So many Plasma, and it was messy, right? So many Plasma. And currently, we are focusing on OVM. OVM is generalized Plasma, and generalized layer 2, like unification. With OVM, we can make all layer 2 scaling solution, not only Plasma, but also Lightning Network and so on. So I would like to implement this OVM on Substrate. This is our first focus right now. And we will implement OVM in this month and next month. So this is the milestone with the Web3 Foundation. And another thing is I would like to make our network more like, how can I say? So many people try to use blockchain, but it's pretty hard right now. I would like general people to use our network. So we need like software as a service, like GUI tool. Just click and deploy, and we can monitor, which is like AWS.
Yeah.
So we are making like blockchain AWS right now. So if you want to use it, you can just click, and then you can deploy the layer 2 application.
Yeah, instead of running the commands on a black screen.
yeah. It's like pretty techy right now.
Yeah.
So I would like many people to use blockchain. So we need a tool, GUI tool, to do that right now.
OK，一个简单的翻译啊，就是刚才我们在讨论的是这个现在呢，就是我们双方都这个其实我还没讲是吧？我先翻译一下吧，一会儿我就忘了。就是这个Sota 来讲一下，就是现在这个 Plsam 主要 focus 在哪里？然后其实主要是2点，第一点就是虽然这个 Plasma 其实 Plasma 是一套协议嘛，而这套协议其实一直也在这个更新，它并没有完成。然后可能一天有一个样，有这个 Plasma Cache 啊 ，Plasma MVP 啊，其中有一个叫这个 Generalized Plasma， 然后需要实现一个关键的组件叫这个 Optimistic Virtual Machine， 然后我想这应该怎么翻？应该叫这个乐观虚拟机，就是可以在上面执行任何的这个，其实不仅仅是 Plasma， 包括这个闪电网络这样的2型协议，然后也是可以在上面实现的。然后实现了一个这样的这个 OVM 之后呢，就是可以在上面做各种各样的开发，会比较方便。然后那个第2点，这是第1点，就是其实已经蛮硬核的。然后第2点是不那么硬核的，就是大家现在做这个区块链开发都很困难，对吧？然后我们需要去用各种各样的工具去输这个命令，然后需要去学 Unix， 对吧？但是为什么不能把它做的对用户比较友好呢？我们可以做一个像 AWS 一样的平台，你只要在上面点一点，然后就把你要实现的东西实现了，就可以部署你想要的这个应用。对，这个也是这个Plsam 现在正在 focus on 的这个一个点。然后我觉得其实跟这个 Plsam 这个项目也是蛮相关的，因为 Plsam 呢，就是我可以稍微这个加一点点这个自己的介绍。这个 Plasma 其实它是一个树状的结构，就是我有一个主链，然后在这个主链下面可以不停的去增加一些子链，然后子链其实下面还可以增加子链。这个好处是什么呢？就是如果我一个主链的性能不足了，我可以把主链上的这个计算任务下放到子链上，然后你在子链上做的事情还可以最终在主链上做一个结算，这样的话就可以无限去扩容，对吧？所以其实可以想到其中一个很重要的一点就是，这个主链跟子链之间，就是你怎么去调用它们。如果像以前，比如说我们只是跟一条链交互，其实已经蛮困难的了。如果你要跟一堆链交互，没有一个好的 UI 的话，一定会很困难。对，所以说我觉得这个是特别有意思的一个。
Can I ask?
Okay.
So I think many people are interested in why Substrate and why Polkadot, because this is the Substrate conference, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask you the why Substrate, rather than what Ethereum or Bitcoin and so on.
Okay. Actually, before I start this project, Phala Network, I was also the founder of another project. It's called Bitcoin Gold. It's a fork of Bitcoin. Yeah, and I think it's after dealing with different blockchains, including the first generation Bitcoin, the second generation like Ethereum, and the other blockchains, and right now we have Substrate. It's very you can see the difference between different generation clearly. In the first generation, which is Bitcoin, everything is hard coded.
Right.
Yeah, you can just imagine when we created Bitcoin Gold, there was a huge debate on the Bitcoin space. Yeah, because there are miners and developers. Miners think we should have bigger block. Yeah, and the developers think the bigger block doesn't scale. So there was a conflict, and people has to hard fork the blockchain to achieve the upgrade. But the hard fork itself is very, very dangerous because you need to everyone on the blockchain to upgrade their software. This is very hard. Imagine you are traveling and you run a business, but the blockchain upgraded, your business will break. Yes. So this is a very different. I think in Substrate, because in Substrate you can compile your runtime as a WASM kernel, or you can say it as a bytecode. You can upload it to the blockchain. So when people want to upgrade the blockchain, they just need to vote on blockchain. The software, you can upgrade it, it's better, but if you don't, the blockchain still work because it can run the latest approved WASM code on the blockchain. So you don't need to upgrade manually. This solve a very fundamental problem, I think. And I think this is the first difference. The second difference is that Substrate itself is created by Parity after developing tons of blockchains.
Yeah.
So they have already they already have a very deep experience on making blockchain. So they make the blockchain modularized.
Right.
Yeah, so you can choose which module you are going to use. For example, use the Substrate blockchain. You can run a proof of stake blockchain, but you can also run a proof of work blockchain. Yeah, it's very customized,
right.
So you can make anything you want. Before Substrate, when you want to make something very customized, you have to build from the scratch. So it costs a lot of resource and time to implement it. Mm-hmm. But if with Substrate, you can just use the framework to pick the module you would like to use and plug them together. Then you get a new blockchain. This is really attractive for, I think, for the team who wants to build a customized blockchain, especially when you need to customize the incentivize mechanism on the blockchain. Yeah. If you use Ethereum, it's impossible to build your own incentive mechanism because you have to use Ether as the gas fee. Yeah. So this is the big difference.
Yeah. And I think the innovation of Substrate is game changer, I think. Because before the Substrate, we have to adjust our idea to the blockchain, like Ethereum, Bitcoin. Yeah. And the protocol is already decided. So we cannot change the number of tokens, we cannot change smart contract, consensus algorithm, and finality, and so on.
Yeah.
So we have to make idea, the use case, based on existing blockchain. But with Substrate, we can customize blockchain itself.
Yeah.
So the blockchain depends on the idea. So this is a game changer. So currently we have to make our idea based on the blockchain. But in the future with Substrate, we can make blockchain based on your idea.
Yeah.
And this is the big thing. And another big thing is the Polkadot. So if we can connect Substrate-based chain to the Polkadot, we don't care about security. So we can import security from Polkadot to the Substrate chain. So let's say if I make Substrate Sota chain, now I want to make nodes on my network. So if I have a node just in Japan, just in China, this is not like blockchain for me. But if I can connect our blockchain to the Polkadot, we can import validator from Polkadot relay chain to my chain. So I will not care about security itself. So this is the big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I also agree with this. Right now, if we build our own blockchain, it's very hard because you need to recruit the miners, recruit the validators by yourself. But the security is very hard to be guaranteed unless you are a very, very big platform, a big system. But with if we build it on Polkadot, then the Polkadot validators are the Prochain validators. So you don't need to care about the security by yourself. And I think this is also a very attractive aspect of using Polkadot and Substrate.
Right.
Yeah. So I can do
Okay.
brief translate.
Okay.
对，就是那个我们讨论了一下这个为什么我们要用这个 substrate， 然后为什么我们要连到波卡上面，然后简单总结一下吧。第一就是 substrate 本身是一个这个非常好的一个创新，在以前你如果想做一个这个自定制化的一个链，其实你需要从头到尾去做，否则你就只能去用比如说像以太坊这样的平台。但是如果你选择在以太坊上开发的话，就有很大的限制，比如说这个怎么去定价，比如说这个你一定要用这个 ETH 来交这个手续费，对吧？这些其实都是些问题。如果说你想设计一套自己的这个经济模型，一套自己的这个激励模型的话，其实是很困难的。那在 Substrate 上，其实你可以去做它，因为 Substrate 本身它是可以定制的，它里面做的特别的模块化。所以说像 Sota 所说，就是以前你想做一个东西，你是先看区块链能实现什么，然后你才能做它。那现在有了 Substrate 之后，你可以先想你想做什么，然后你再去定制这个链，这样的话你就不会受制于已有的区块链了。然后另一点就是，其实这个既然用了 Substrate 呢，一个很大的好处就是 Substrate 的链是比较容易可以连到这个波卡上。波卡是一个巨大的好处，就是连在波卡上的链，其实它的安全性并不是由你这条链自己来保障的，而是由这个波卡整个这个生态来保障。因为波卡它会在波卡上面会招募很多的这个 validator， 就是验证者。而这些验证人，他们其实是会被分发到各种的这个平行链上去做验证，所以说其实整个波卡的安全，就是你只要加入了波卡的这个平行链之后，你就得到了整个波卡的安全性。这样你不需要去把这个心思还放在如何保证链的安全上，你可以更多的去集中在你的业务上。Okay.
Yeah, and the one thing. So one of the interesting feature on Plsam network is dApps reward mechanism. So dApps creator is definitely contributing to the ecosystem. Let's say Ethereum, but what actually they're doing is paying cost, as known as gas.
Yeah.
So dApps creator is creating dApps, but paying cost.
Yeah.
However, they are contributing to the ecosystem.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense for me. So on the Plsam network, we divided block reward into 3 parts. 50% goes to miner, like Ethereum and Bitcoin, and the 40% goes to dApps creator, and 10% goes to dApps nominator. dApps nominator nominate dApps, like they can choose which dApps is usable.
Yeah.
And then depends on the nominated amount, dApps developer can get block reward. So this can be a basic income. And this is the interesting feature on Plsam network, and with Substrate we can do that. But with Ethereum we cannot do that. We cannot change core protocol. But with Substrate we can change core protocol, and we can implement whatever you want.
Yeah.
So this is the good things of Substrate, I think.
Yeah, I also agree with that. I know there is a Rails chat room called, I guess it's called Substrate Economy Design or something like that.
Yeah, Prochain economics.
Oh yeah, Prochain economics. Yeah, I think this is very different from other blockchains because you can design the economy in as a part of the Polkadot ecosystem. You use Substrate because you can how to say that. Yeah, I think one of the advantage of Substrate is that everything is customized, so you can design your economy. 在一个区块链上开发 dApp， 其实 他是在对这个区块链做贡献，但结果他还是需要去付费。那有没有办法去改变这个设定呢？然后在 Substrate 上面其实是可以做的。然后在这个 Plsam 上面，把这个所有的这个收入分成了几部分，然后一部分是给矿工，一部分是去给这个代码的开发者，然后还有一部分是给这个网络的这个其他的这些参与者吧。然后这个怎么去给这个开发者奖励呢？然后这个其实我觉得一会儿我们可以深入的来聊一下，就是怎么才能在这个 Substrate 上实现这些功能吧。然后我也是蛮感兴趣的。As we have already mentioned, on Substrate, the token economy is very customized.
Right.
So one of my questions is that how do you implement it on Substrate? Because I think most of the beginners of Substrate, they just use the default setup. Yeah. So maybe you can give a very simple introduction of how you implement the different type of incentive for developers and miners and other parties on Substrate.
Yeah. I think in terms of economics, Web3 Foundation is doing a great job. So there are many differences on the Web3 Foundation, like chat group and also Wikipedia and so on. So first of all, I recommend checking the Wikipedia, and then you can learn a lot. So actually, our token economics is the Web3 Foundation and Wikipedia is our reference, and we improve Polkadot like incentive design and optimize to our network. So we don't need to make incentive design from scratch. So Phala network can be a new reference. We have published a white paper, so that can be a reference. Then you can also optimize our incentive design, Polkadot incentive design to your network. And my question is, what do you expect Polkadot 2020 in 2020?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, let me translate.
Okay.
对，刚才这个 Sota 来讲了一下，就是怎么在 Substrate 上面实现不同的这个经济激励吧。因为那个在 Substrate 就是这个新手可能刚使用 Substrate 的时候会用一些默认的一些设定，因为默认其实是有一些设定的，比如说一笔交易多少钱，然后你可以定义这个不同的交易要怎么去收费，对吧？然后这个，但其实在这个就其实 Web3 Foundation 他们在这方面做的已经非常好了，他们有一些这个专门的 Reddit 上面的讨论组，然后有一些这个就是一些 Wiki 的页面，然后其实都可以在上面找到资料来看怎么去自定Substrate 上面的这个经济模型，然后可以先从这些开始入手来看一看，然后具体的实现呢就是比较复杂吧，我估计。然后这个 Sota 说可以到Plsam 的白皮书上去看一看，然后上面是有一套具体的设计，所以最后应该是实现了这个。OK， 然后下面就是 Sota 来这个问一下我，就是在2020年我们期望这个波卡，就是对于波卡有什么期望呢 ？OK， I think in 2020 Polkadot is actually a very it's a young project still, though it already launched for a few years. But to me, it's actually still a very young project. You know, if you run a blockchain, create a blockchain from scratch, it's already a very huge project. But for Polkadot, I think this is completely different because this is not just a single blockchain. This is a set of blockchain. It's a network of blockchains. So the difficulty is much higher. So till now, I think the Polkadot have already launched Plsam as the canary network, and I think it's already very promising. You can transfer, you can submit the governance proposal on the Plsam blockchain, but I think the most exciting thing is still not launched yet. I think the most exciting things there are two. The first is Prochain, and the second is cross-chain interoperability protocol that is called XAMP. It was called ICMP, now it's called XAMP. Yeah. I think the whole idea of Polkadot is that we build a system to allow different blockchains to talk to each other. So we first have the design of Prochain and the relay chain. The relay chain is the driver of the Polkadot network. And with this design, people will be able to talk to. The blockchains will be able to talk to each other with a protocol called XAMP. So to be honest, I'm not sure what it will look like and how will people use XAMP to achieve different applications. But to us, because we are working on a confidentiality preserving system. So we don't just want people to use our network, but we also want to provide the confidential smart contract capability to other blockchains.
Right.
Yeah. So this is I think Prochain and XAMP is the most exciting thing for us because we would like to see other blockchains to use XAMP to invoke us to use our confidential smart contract.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, the Polkadot is the foundation for next innovation. So let's say the Akara network and Phala network is connected to Polkadot. So we can make high privacy, high scalable, instant stablecoin payment, something like this. This is wonderful. The more blockchain connected to the Polkadot, the more use case we can make.
Yeah.
I hope Prochain will be connected more than 100 Prochain will be connected in the future, so we can make more and more use case.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
So that is the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think I share the exact same idea, same belief. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think how to say that in English? In the DeFi ecosystem, especially Israel, we can already see some early sign. We can already see some early sign of combining different components together and make an even larger ecosystem. On Ethereum, you have first we have a lot of tokens which is created during the ICO boom phase, and after that there are like maker style. This is stable coin, and then there are like the decentralized exchange. There are borrow platform. So combine them together, things are going to work, and it will make. I think the sum of these components makes much larger value than any of them before combining them. And this is just a combination of smart contracts. But on Polkadot, we're going to combine different blockchains and different protocols, including the on-chain block protocol and off-chain block protocol. For example, Plasma and Lightning Network. So it will make, I think it will be the next huge thing on the blockchain space.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with this very much. OK， 所以时间不太多了啊，对我简单的来这个翻译一下，就是2020年的这个波卡，大家期待的是什么？我觉得我跟 Sota 都最期待的其实就是平行链的上线以及这个跨链传输协议 XAMP 协议上线，因为有了这些这个链和链之间交互的基础设施之后，其实大家也可以看到，在这个以太坊上面，然后我们有很多 token， 我们有这个借贷平台，有稳定币，然后有这个去中心化交易所，把它们放在一起，然后才构成了现在这种丰富多彩的 DeFi 生态。如果这个只是看其中任何一项，其实它们的这个价值都是有限的，但是把它们放在一起，价值远大于把它们每一个的价值相加，对吧？那在这个波卡的生态下面，其实大家相加的不仅仅是智能合约了，还有一些这个链上链下的，在这个以太坊上不能直接实现的协议，都可以在这个波卡的这个生态下实现。如果我们能把它们这个连接在一起，然后我相信可能就像这个Sota所说，我们可以得到这个无限可以扩容的，然后这个执行速度可以及时就执行智能合约的这种，又可以保护隐私的这种生态这种平台。这可能是现在的这个任何一个区块链都做不到，但是把大家放在一起是有可能实现的。对，所以说我相信把这个波卡把区块链连成一片网络是这个，其实这是波卡最初的这个出发点了，然后也是2020年可能大家最值得期待的一步。